Hey, happy Monday everybody. I hope you're all having an amazing day so far, and at the beginning of this week, we have a lot of things going on over at Disney and Lucasfilm. We know that Bob Iger, the CEO, and the executives over there are still in a constant shakeup, as it is actually happening currently still to this day, involving what's set for the future of Marvel, Star Wars, and just Disney overall, and what's happening with all of that. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support, and let's get right into this. Now, we know one thing mainly is that Jon Favreau is really trying to find the right avenue to really turn Star Wars around and really bring it all back together again, to really mend the Star Wars franchise back to the way it used to be. It's going to be a very tough and difficult task to complete, but it is something that he is pursuing, and he does have a concrete plan now on exactly how it's going to happen. Now, one thing in particular that Jon Favreau is actually pre-planning to really set up the Star Wars franchise in a more proper way, to really kind of undo the current damage that has been done by Kathleen Kennedy with the sequel trilogy, has a lot to do with what the fans have been asking for a very long time. So let's tap right into all of this. Now, we know that Favreau is a great filmmaker, but I still believe to this day that Dave Filoni knows the Star Wars lore better than Favreau does, because he personally worked with George Lucas for many years on the Clone Wars, and he knows George Lucas and has known him personally for a very long time. However, with both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni actively developing a plan to turn Star Wars around for the better, however, the plan mostly will be orchestrated by Favreau, and currently his plan to fix everything related to the Star Wars franchise is to create a well-organized timeline of Star Wars Legends material that will be a mixture of post-Return of the Jedi content along with new Jedi Order material that will be adapted. Now, Favreau's plan to fix it all is to adapt Luke's new Jedi Order, and how one of the big retcons is that his entire Jedi Order never really even fell, even after Ben Solo burned it down to the ground. Favreau's plan is that there were many other Jedi related to, of course, Luke's new Jedi Order that went into hiding, and actual outposts that were actually still existing, and building other temples in secret across the galaxy. Favreau is also looking overall the books ranging from the Thrawn trilogy to Shadows of the Empire, and wants to create an organized, linear timeline of events that will be put into live-action form that will feature Luke, Han, and Leia in multiple iterations and variations to truly bring out Legends in live-action to the community. So, before I get to the next segment here, is that basically what Favreau wants to do is he wants to create a linear timeline of events that are based on Star Wars Legends. So basically all the books that you guys know and love, be it Shadows of the Empire, Heir to the Empire, or the new Jedi Order books, anything like that, he wants to adapt that in a linear fashion. And what I mean by that is really kind of just creating a direct focus of book after book being adapted in live action form, all post Return of the Jedi content. Now, of course, at the same exact time, they have to make sure that this is going to be done in the most, smooth way possible. They want to make sure that this is going to be something that a lot of fans are really going to really enjoy, something that fans will be able to really engage themselves in, and to really kind of just be more interesting than the sequel trilogy lore. They want to also make sure that they're not going to really acknowledge the sequels as much in this. So this is basically Favreau's big plan, and there's more to the story than this. We're going to tap into that in just a second. But Favreau basically, yes, wants to adapt the Thrawn trilogy through and through, from start to finish. He's going to get Timothy Zahn to help him with that, and he's going to also get Tony Gilroy to help out with a lot of these upcoming stories. Moving on. Now, this is simply Favreau's plan to fix it all, by mainly focusing on post-Return of the Jedi content and to redeem Luke's character while also steering clear from making any sequel trilogy references as much as possible. Favreau is also on the hunt to hiring Tony Gilroy to write lots of material with him, and to have Timothy Zahn to guide him on adapting all of these stories with George Lucas's help as well. Timothy Zahn was already an advisor and a great help for the Ahsoka series, as well to make sure that Thrawn's character was well presented to the fandom. Now, Favreau also wants to make sure that this will be done as accurately as possible for the fans to enjoy, and that much of this will also be presented in Dave Filoni's movie, which, by the way, I must add, is going to be basically a gateway to becoming a new trilogy. So basically, Filoni's trilogy is basically going to be a way or an avenue for them to tell these series of events on the big screen. So the first Dave Filoni film, it's basically going to be that spark that's going to create 3 movies overall. And I think that's great and all, because that's basically going to be their idea of creating a new sequel trilogy. Now, the other thing about this that I think a lot of fans need to be aware of is that Kathleen Kennedy has no hand in this. This is all going to be done by Filoni, Favreau, George Lucas, Tony Gilroy, and Timothy Zahn so far. 5 amazing creators, in my opinion here, that can really bring Star Wars together again. You know, basically Timothy Zahn, you know, he was very well involved with the Legends content, so he got his help with there. Tony Gilroy is an amazing writer, in my opinion. He did a great job on Rogue One, Star Wars Andor, stuff like that. Jon Favreau, great world builder. Filoni is a real person that knows his lore, and George Lucas, well, is George Lucas, right? The father of Star Wars. So you got a great team here. This is basically the dream team, if you will, that Jon Favreau is putting together, that Lucasfilm is putting together, that Disney authorized. And they're going to get more creators coming on board of this quote-unquote dream team to really fulfill the Star Wars franchise. So, again, so far we've got quite a number of people involved in this. The thing that many people might find to be very skeptical about this is the fact that whether or not this is going to work. Now look, it can work most certainly if it's executed very well, if it's well crafted, well paced, and well marketed. And it all begins with the Ahsoka Tano series. So basically this August is where this all begins, this new treatment of Star Wars. Now, I don't think a lot of fans should really get confused with the Ahsoka show to be necessarily a accurate adaptation of Heir to the Empire or the Thrawn trilogy. This is basically just a baby step to kind of entering into that realm, so to speak. So, again, Ahsoka is really tapping into Dave Filoni's potential. He wrote every single episode, every little piece of dialogue. He had no other co-writers. Jon Favreau just helped out a little bit here and there with the story, and other than that, this is Dave Filoni's story. And it is said to be the most different take on Star Wars since a very long time ago. So you're going to have something that you have never seen before. The fact that Kennedy was not involved, the fact that Filoni had 100% freedom on this, I think is a reason to really kind of at least have a level of interest in this above what was done in Mando Season 3, Book of Boba, the Kenobi series, etc. And even the sequel trilogy films. So, guys, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
From night to moon.